What's up, everybody? I'm John Middlekauff. You know what I need you to do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got content for days reacting to every NFL game all the time, every single day. Subscribe, like the videos. Let's go. This was an interesting story. The New York Jets, it was reported by, I think, the Sports Business Journal, that of like 220 employees, they offered like 170 or 180 of them the opportunity to quit and basically get paid to go away, which I've always said. Some of these coaches, like Josh McDaniels, got like $50 million to leave. You know, no human can relate to that. You read some of these articles about like CEOs getting the golden parachute. I remember when I got fired in radio and they owed me like 10 grand over the course of 2 months. I thought I was like, I'm getting 10 grand for 2 months and not do shit. This is awesome. Most human beings, when they are laid off or fired, not only don't get much, a lot of them are at will employees. They get nothing and have to take unemployment, and it sucks. I've been there where you just like have no money coming in. You don't even know what to do. I feel little sympathy the way this is going to work with the Jets, where a lot of these people are 10 plus years. Some of them are 20 plus years. You get 3 week severance for every year you work there. So if you work there for 10 years, you would get 30-week severance. I mean, that's more than 6 months. Some of these people up to 80-week severance. Do the math. You're talking a year and a half. So like it's pretty clear if they don't want you to work there and they're offering you a year worth of severance, it's like I'm not feeling bad for you. I'm not looking at you like the dude at some job that just gets laid off and now has no income coming in. That sucks. That's not the case here. Woody Johnson's throwing this out. He's copying Elon and Donald, who did that. I actually know a guy who got offered this, I think, was it early February, late January? And he took it. He's being paid by the U.S. government till I think September to just, he got paid to leave. And he was in a situation where he was between jobs. He took this job, he didn't like it, and they offered him that. He's like, see, I'm out. This is a situation which is, I would say, is a little unheard of. The difference in the government thing that's going on is there's administrative change. There is a new boss. And there are people, if you don't align with the values and you are not going to want to do what they're going to want to do, or you think that they're going to bring in people that don't align with the way you view things, you ultimately will get fired or forced out. You're like, okay, I'll take my quote unquote golden parachute right now. In this situation, Woody Johnson is not leaving. So the ownership, there is no change of leadership. The reason the Jets haven't made the playoffs in, I think it's the longest standing professional team in all of sports, all the four major sports in America, is not because of any of these individuals. Sure, some of them you could trim some fat. Probably you could upgrade. But Woody Johnson looks at it like we need a full scale change. Let's fire everyone in the building and start from scratch. Woody, you're not a startup. The reason your team hasn't won many games, you've picked the wrong players. You've hired the wrong coaches. You haven't figured out the quarterback position. The third dude in the marketing department who's worked there for 6 years has no impact on winning and losing. I promise you that. I've been in these buildings. They do not impact it. It's not their fault. So, like, I understand what he's trying to copy, but I think most people would tell you he's the problem. And as long as he owns the team, nothing's going to change. So they could get all these people, 200 plus people could basically agree to pay me to go away, which for some of these people is a long time. I'd argue is an American dream. But I don't think it's going to have any impact if Justin Fields can't complete an out route, if the defense can't get a 3rd and 8 stop, if Sauce Gardner plays like he did last year, not his first 2 seasons, if their pass rush isn't very good, if Aaron Glenn's not a good coach, if this dude they hired from Denver is not a good GM. They could replace all those fucking people and it will have no impact on whether they can beat Mike Vrabel or Sean McDermott. So, sexy headline. And I would imagine that a lot of these people end up taking these once they realize that they are not wanted anymore. Because the one thing I look back at when, I've left places was like, why would you want to be somewhere that doesn't want you? Now, at the time, it's very difficult when you're hearing that news. It is not fun. But when time passes and you look back, you're like, why would I want to work with these people? And the answer is you wouldn't if they don't want you there, especially the guy that owns the team. If he wants you gone, I mean, I promise you this is his idea. He's clearly good buddies with Donald. Their wives were models in the 80s or whatever. And he's copying Doge and Elon. I just think, to think that the dude selling sweets is the reason the Jets get made fun of a lot and have had issues over the last 15 years, I just think is fundamentally you're like barking up the wrong tree. You're just you're trying to fix something that is not going to change the thing that matters the most to everybody, which is the on the field product. Last but not least, Kevin O'Connell said that two things can be true. We really like JJ McCarthy, and we're all in on JJ McCarthy, but we would not be doing our job if we didn't thoroughly discuss and go over the scenarios about Aaron Rodgers. And I think he's right. I You could argue like, listen, Aaron, we are going to offer you a contract. 1 year's $5 million. 1 year, $5 million. What's he going to say? No. I was like, okay, go to Pittsburgh for 25 or whatever. We're offering you by far the best opportunity with the guy, as Kevin O'Connell said, I've known since I was playing. 1 year, $5 million. You've made 450. You probably made $600 million on and off the field. Whether you get paid $20 million or $5 million isn't going to change anything in your life, your future children, if you choose to have them, anything about the rest of your existence on this earth. But we are going to give you $5 million. And that would give them the wiggle room. Like, if it's not going well, we just cut you. That's what I would have done if I was Minnesota. But yeah, I'm not giving you 25, 30, $40 million. Here's our offer. If you want to be a part of what we're doing and somehow end up on the same path that Favre ended up on, the guy that you like detested because he was mean to you and then you played for the same teams, and clearly Rodgers was hoping the Vikings offered him a contract. You could argue like, hey, league minimum. And Rodgers' league minimum, because he's been in the league 20 years, might be $2 or $3 million. But this is what we'll offer you. What's he going to say? No? Like, okay, cool. This is what we wanted. We wanted the wiggle room of like, if this doesn't work out, we can bounce because we don't want to be tied to you. But we do value, like, maybe you're better than JJ McCarthy right now. Maybe you're not. I don't know the answer. Obviously, 3 or 4 years ago, you wouldn't. Aaron Rodgers would have already been on the Vikings. It would have been a no-brainer. But at this point in time, he's 41. He's declining. What if JJ actually is good? But what if he's bad? Like, I understand why they had these conversations. But if it ever got down to making him an offer, I think the offer would be for a very, very small amount of money and basically put it in his court. Like, how bad do you want this? Because we got the leverage. You want to be here more than we want you. So I'm a little surprised that they ended up not pulling the trigger on just basically a low ball offer. I don't even want to use the term low ball. Listen. We want you on this team. We think you still have something left, but financially, this is the wiggle room that we have. And basically, don't even pay him more than JJ McCarthy. So if JJ McCarthy actually hits, there's not resentment, big picture. But they chose not to do that. And they're all in on JJ McCarthy. And now the hopes of Minnesota Vikings fans and the future of a franchise that's absolutely loaded on paper falls on a guy that's never taken a regular season snap.